Can I start?
Yes.
Now, I'm sure most of us know that quote, "Think different," which comes from Apple. And when people think of Apple, they think of Steve Jobs. There's a quote by Alice Adams that says, "I guess all talented people are a bit peculiar, and that's part of their charm." One person that comes to mind when it comes to this quote would be Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs is very talented, however, he is peculiar for 3 reasons. 1, the way he dresses is very different from the other people in his field. 2, the way he describes his products as if it's more than just technological products. And 3, the way he approaches things when it comes to work. For the first thing, the way he dresses. If you look at his other competitors in the technological field, most of them dress up like semi-casual, semi-business. But when you look at Steve Jobs, he was always wearing that jeans, New Balance sneakers, and the turtleneck. And most people were like, "Oh, hey, that's Steve Jobs." And even some of his competitors were like, "Really? Is that what he's wearing? Because that's so casual." Sometimes people say, "Is he really taking himself seriously?" However, he has gone to the point where people ignore the fact that he's just wearing clothes that anybody else would wear and focus more on what he has to deliver. The second thing about him is that the way he describes his products. Most of his competitors usually talk about their products like, "Okay, here's my MP3 player. It has 10 gigabytes. You can watch 1080p video," among numerous other things. But in Steve Jobs, he does it in a very peculiar way. For instance, when he was describing one of the MacBooks, he said that it's so gorgeous that you want to lick it. Now, how many competitors out there say that their screen is so gorgeous that you want to lick it as if it were a lollipop or a popsicle, you know? That's another thing that makes him very peculiar. And the third is that he is kind of infamous when it comes to the way he works within the company. I'm not sure if most of you know, but most of the blueprints for his products and future products, they're actually stored in a vault where there's security guards. It looks like a bank vault with a huge door, metal door. And also he's known for being very picky about every single thing within his company. For example, before the iPhone came out, probably a few weeks before the iPhone came out, he complained to his board and said that we need to change the screen for the iPhone because originally it was going to be made out of plastic. But then he said that, "You know what? I noticed that the keys are starting to scratch the screen, so people are going to start complaining. We better change the glass." And this is about 3-4 weeks right before that they were going to start sending the iPhones out to stores. Now, most companies, they would probably delay their product, but Steve Jobs, he was peculiar in the sense that "I want it right now. You have to do it right now." And he also wants the most security when it comes to his products. So when it comes to talented people who are a bit peculiar, but that adds to their charm, Steve Jobs is one of those people. He's peculiar when it comes to dressing up as any other average person. He's peculiar with how he describes his products, and he's peculiar with how he works within his company. So I guess it's really true. Talented people are peculiar in one way or another. Do I keep the slip?
Yeah, that's your souvenir for the day.
You're welcome. Thanks, you're up. Isaiah's coming up.
Oh, she's judging her.
Yeah, but
because I was going to show you guys where the traffic comes everywhere.
All right, Brian, you did a very nice job on the presentation. Almost everything is, in good shape. They're just minor things. I like the attention device. I thought you had a good way of tying into the thesis that you came up with and relating it to the topic effectively. There's an excellent preview of what the structure is going to be. It's easy to follow what you're talking about internally because you tell us where you are at every given point, and then we make the transitions very clear. I also thought that you did a nice job telling stories on each of those points, little bits and pieces of information. It's not always deep, but it's always illustrative of the thing that you're talking about, and I thought that was very nice. The presentation, your voice is fine. I think you could project a little bit more because your energy level seems low only because I think your vocal projection is low. But there's good variety in your voice while you're speaking. It's paced very effectively, and I thought that those things were good. Your gestures, I think you had some very nice descriptive gestures that you used during the presentation also. Your facial expressions, you look animated, like you're enjoying yourself and you're interested in the subject. I thought that was pretty good. Your eye contact tends to be a little bit toward the center of the room. Again, not bad. I mean, you are looking up most of the time when you're talking to us, but I think you need to be a little bit more engaged with the audience in a couple of spots. You're confident in your posture. You're standing there, and I think that even though you do stand in the one spot pretty much the whole time that you're speaking, it's not out of fear, it's out of confidence, and I think that that's conveyed very effectively. I didn't see anything that I would say was an indicator of anxiety issues. I do think that sometimes you're pursuing whatever you're talking about, regardless of the audience's response to it. Don't forget that it's a two-way street, although like I said, it's not that there was a problem there, but it doesn't seem like it's always flowing both directions there. I thought you had an excellent summary at the end of the speech and a very good exit, too. All right, thank you.